the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Outdoors Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a bit of a product review video on an awning from Camper, or an awning range I should say, and I should also say it's Dometic now. So for 2021, Camper has kind of merged into Dometic, so it's all Dometic branded, but it's still the awnings that we've known and loved and very much admired for many years. Now with me here I've got kind of the Dometic Rally Air Pro range, so it's their kind of classical, it's almost not, I wouldn't say entry price point into kind of awnings, but you've got the Pro fabrics, that really nice, strong, robust kind of touring fabric that's got that sort of lifespan that we've known and love as well. And you've got still the traditional kind of sizes, so a 260, a 330, a 390, and then smaller 200. So going forward into 2021, we've got a lot of change. Not only is it a name, of course, it's now just Dometic Rally rather than that sort of dual branded Camper Dometic, but there's a lot more features going on, and I think, you know, what they've kind of done is made an already very popular awning, and one almost tends to be a little bit more the benchmark of what people kind of compare themselves to being that next level. They've made the better even better, and it's the small little tweaks that make, like I said, it's something from an exceptional product to beyond that, you know, sort of first class. The whole premise is you've got a single point inflation, so it's very quick and easy to pitch, as we kind of know. One single inflation point pumps up the whole awning as you see here, but then you've got several deflation points at the bottom of every single beam, so it's easy to pitch but easy to pack away. As seen from our own kind of pitching and packing videos that we do, you know, you can pitch the whole thing on your own in the best part of about 8 minutes, certainly for like 260 size. The joy is the fact that you've got these sort of different sizes. You can pick and choose kind of how big, or how big on the caravan you want it to be. You want a small little porch, a 200 or 260 works really well. Middle sort of size, 330 or the 390 is definitely probably the most popular model in the whole range. A few more things to mention is the fact that going forward for 2021, one of the main key features that they've changed is actually now the front panels itself can be removed. One of the criticisms mainly was that probably you had to roll it away to the side, so you sort of lost that sort of flexibility. But now the front panels can remove, the side panels can remove, and you almost create this perfect sort of kind of gazebo kind of style. You've got flexibility, you can have one out and one in, and you still sort of roll it away, and there's still kind of toggle points to do so. By having the ability to remove the front and the side panels, suddenly then you can then split the weight of the awning up. So rather than having one big bulky bag, you split it into two bits, one for the main body, one for the front panels, side panels, the sort of pegs, the pump, the curtains, and it means that you've got two manageable packages you can store in different places and just make it a bit more simple. Still core features things like your dual pitch roof, so you get great sort of drainage but also great interior height and a more boxy kind of feel, so furniture again can be a bit further forward. That 250 depth throughout this kind of rally range is classical standard sort of size, so again it's not going to encroach too far on the campsites and you won't have a problem fitting it on a site. Webbing straps front and back, and you've got this easy pitch system, so you basically one point here will peg the base out, but also you can tension it and get that front really quite sharp. You peg the back out as we've seen for the videos, peg it forward, and then peg your little blue triangle pieces in here, and that keeps the middle beam sitting really nice and so. You've got additional webbing straps you can buy, which are the Camper ones, do a great bracing across the width and really help to give that bit more stability inside, but that's pretty rock solid, so that's more the rail moving than it is, and that's the kind of joy of that kind of system where it's all in one. As we saw, the side panels can be completely removed as well, so if you wanted to, I said you can actually add additional annexes, whether it be a standard annex or even a tall annex with extra sleeping area. It doesn't accommodate into the main sort of living area as such. One of the main big things is not only from the panel side of things is there's an extra zip on the very top, so you can buy this little canopy, so it's like almost like a protection against the sun. Brilliant for reflecting the heat away but also sunlight, and again it means the product itself in terms of the roof lifespan of the awning is going to last longer, so you get more wear out of it, and again you get more for your money. That's a really nice extra, and actually, to be fair, on some like the Rally model, it's also going to protrude out a little bit, and it's give you a bit of rain-safe kind of door upon here. So even if you haven't got a little canopy on the front, buying that top piece works really well. And probably one of the biggest change of anything is the fact that now this awning is a multi-height fit. So it doesn't matter if you've got a caravan or a motorhome, they've kind of merged them into one product. So This has got a dual beading, so it'll fit into a cassette awning or into a normal caravan C-rail or a motorhome C-rail. But you've got the benefit, the fact that you've got a height adjustment system. So if you look back, they did a motor rally range and then a rally range. So a rally would be for the caravans, motor rally for the motorhomes. That merges into one. So one product fits all. What you've got here is a zip running very discreetly along the side. This actually can be opened up and allow this part to increase, so you can increase the height. So suddenly you've got less gaps between sizes. The S model we have here will fit anywhere from a 235 up to 265. So that will cover all caravans and in pretty much majority of motorhomes. There is then an M size which sits above that, which does 265 to 295. So it's basically 30 centimeters, about a foot difference in the size. So between those two models, it will, like I said, it will fit pretty much any motor on the market. So what you find is the 260, the 330 and the 390 have an S and an M height. So does, like I said, the brackets. Then what you find is you then have the 200 is just an S. But again, from a 230 to 265, 235 to 265, that bracket is pretty much got it covered. So if you've got something like a small little base camp on the back, or you want something just over your small little motorhome, that works really, really well. And again, it's some of those things that it makes it more versatile. You haven't got to worry about if it's going to fit or what the height is. And again, if you're on uneven ground, certainly with caravans, you can kind of open that zip up, drop that down, and then that will allow you to adjust the height properly, as well as using the peg and ladders if you wanted to. So again, that zip just kind of opens up like so, and you can see there's a bit of a fold of fabric there. So when you Velcro that down, you can remove that down, and obviously that then sits a lot lower to the ground. Let's have a look on the inside and talk for a few more features that the Rally has to offer. So now inside the awning, you can kind of get a bit more of an idea for the cells you've got inside of here, as well as sort of the space. So immediately we're in a 260, so it's going to feel a little bit smaller than the rest of the models. But again, the option of having sort of, like I said, the 330 or 390, or even a small little 200, gives you the flexibility to make it as big or little as you want. So you want something just a small little area to, keep the dog, or have a table and chairs, somewhere to sit outside of the actual caravan itself. It works really, really well. You've got these really nice oversized beams, as you can see here, and the single inflation point allows the air to sort of coming from this area, come up the beams, direct itself out through the pipes down to every single beam. So a point will distribute itself more than happily. You've then also got these individual taps. So the tap will allow each beam to be isolated from one another. So even though you've got a single point inflation, you've got a kind of a multi-segmented kind of beam scenario. So it means that if you had say an issue with this beam, you isolate, this then can be repaired, removed or replaced. And again, you've just got like an outer sleeve and inner tube. So it's very similar to kind of a bike tire kind of concept. Very easy to replace the bladder or just repair it with the repair kit itself. Other things to bear in mind is you've got a little sky window as well to allow a bit of lighting coming in, and you can get that covered up by this additional roof lining. The roof lining is definitely a nice benefit to have, and now it's sort of one size fits all. So it doesn't matter whether you go for the S or the M version or alter it at all, it fits really nicely. That's a really great, I think, thing to bear in mind, is that you haven't got to buy loads of different roof linings, it all sort of fits really nicely. Other things to bear in mind as well is the fact that it's going to help with reduced condensation. It's not going to alleviate it, but it's going to catch drips and give you that thermal barrier. So it creates almost like a very much double glazing kind of feel. With the awning itself, you've got a material that obviously is not breathable, but it is sort of, quite strong, and it's been in campers range for numerous years now. So they're kind of pro fabric. It's their best selling fabric without a shadow of a doubt, and it's what they have the widest spread of awnings in. You've got beautiful crystal clear PVC windows to get plenty of light in, but then you've got things like privacy curtains to get the, privacy as you need it to. So it's a traditional kind of caravan style curtain that you can just kind of pull across to where you need it to. There's a little kind of retaining strap that sits there. It just means that the curtain sits really nice and flush to the window, and you haven't got it sitting away. Get the ultimate amount of privacy. Again, when you wanted to, you can just kind of pop that back in its little retainer clip, and it's just a little press button steadied. So no faffing around, little clip, and you're good to go. Thank you, Mr. Spider. Again, a new thing for the 2020 season, not only have you got, you can buy this veranda pole, so there's little inserts there, so you pop that in like so. So again, if you wanted to kind of open that fabric up, rest it down, you can lead it over the pole directly. And again, you've got a secondary zip, so you can put a mesh panel in place, so you have the ventilation as well as the sort of bugs barrier when you're in here overnight with a light on. you haven't got to worry about, you know, the bugs coming in and spoiling the party while you're playing cards. You've got multiple zips on the actual main sort of panel itself. So what you can do again is, like I said, create that veranda kind of feel. So you either do it kind of like that. Now, in theory, you can kind of, if you want to use that pole, just support it a bit more. So clips in one side, clips in the other, and again, you've got it like so. What you, personally, I think is probably a better scenario is you can kind of open that up a bit more, roll that back, then it clips in one side, comes out the other side, clips in the other, and it's a bit more seamless. So that way you get a much better kind of, you know, barrier against it. It looks much smarter, you get the ventilation still, so that works really, really nicely. And one pole will fit in any section of the front panels, and again, will fit any other size of the 200, 260, 330, and the 390 itself. Other things to mention, the fact that obviously the side panels are completely removable as well, like we talked about, and you can actually interchange one panel. So rather than having, say, a window and a door situated here, by turning that panel into that one over there, suddenly the window gets pushed to the back, the door's to the front. So it means that when you open your caravan door, you haven't got to shut it again to go out the door itself. What you've also got built into the panel itself is, well, the doorway I should say, is a normal door but also a mesh door. So you can have a mesh door on either side. One of the panels also has a mesh window. Again, you've got a PVC clear bit of window you can roll back, have ultimate amount of ventilation. So in theory, you can have mesh door, mesh window, 2 mesh panels on the front. So again, for hotter days or days at night where you want to, you know, have that bug barrier, really that works really well. Ventilation without having to worry about the critters. The panels, like I said, because they interchange, you've got the door scenario. So having that here, I think it would be a lot better way of doing it. You can walk in and out of here and almost have that almost a bit of a storage section. Because it's designed to fit a motorhome as well as a caravan, what you find is the things like a draft skirt is now an optional extra, as is the rear poles anyway. Or things like wheel arch covers are also tend to be an optional extra because it depends on whether you've got a single axle or twin axle. So again, you can buy what you need rather than giving you something that's not going to work. The way it seals back to the caravan is this traditional kind of pole scenario. So you buy these upright poles that sort of push this foam pad hard against the caravan to kind of minimise that draft. You can also help seal it with the limpets as well, just to kind of give that strong upright, but then the pole to help seal it. I think they work better in conjunction with one another, just because you get more torsion, and also it just kind of sits closer to the bodywork, and you can obviously suction it on. Now, the big thing I talked about on the outside was that kind of adjustment system where you can suddenly extend the height of the awning to take up the panel. So when you're on the topper edge of the range, you can unzip it. So I've undone the external zip. Now the zip, I must say, is very, very sort of kind of hidden away. You can't really see it. It's very subtle, but gets all of the flexibility. So you can open that up. That whole panel then, as you can see, drops down, so you can get obviously a difference in height. And by undoing this Velcro part here, all of a sudden, this whole part goes down. So again, when you want to extend it up, you can still got that bit of play, and that sort of 15 centimeters play makes a big, big difference, especially when you're sort of talking the difference between kind of a motorhome and the caravan, really. Again, that just sort of nips in like so. It then means you can zip that all up in total. So we'll zip that all together, and it just keeps it all neat and nice, tidy. But that sort of adjustment makes a big difference. Again, when you're on uneven ground, it means that the change between going, you open it up, sits lower to the ground, it looks smarter, and it also kind of gets over that kind of thing that people kind of criticise or air awnings for, is the fact you can't adjust. Suddenly you can. You know, that's the joys of it. You can get the sides looking properly nice and taut without having to worry about putting packing pads underneath the sort of beams to sit it up quite nice and neatly. Overall, it's one of probably Camper's longest running products, and it's one of those things, if it's not broke, don't kind of fix it. And what you kind of do anyway is just, there's little bits of improvement. So I said the veranda pole, the panels at the front, and the ventilation system, the adjustment system, the ability to put a part on. So there's a lot going on for 2021, but let's have a pick the camera now, a little bit of a walk round, just to kind of get more of a feel for the awning itself. So if we head, obviously here we go, great visibility. So you've got great PVC windows looking all the way around, and this kind of scenario works really, really well. The curtains, and again the rail on this side, for example, in fact, there you go. Here I've got the adjustment completely open, so you can see how that sits the ground. So I've got an even ground. So one side here, it's open, this side it's not. So you can kind of get a feel. We've kind of extended the rail up a bit more. So even though it's kind of higher this end. See how nicely that fits the ground? In comparison, we go round, you can see probably actually from here how much of a skew that really is, and how we've really tried to sort of, you know, exacerbate that problem. Here on this side, it's at full height, 265, so it sits low to the ground, but you've got that kind of little wedge, and you can kind of see that a bit more, and that's kind of showing you how big it really is. So we've got a little ventilation point, that new apex, and because you've got no kind of wing on it anymore, it means that it'll fit into a cassette awning a lot smarter. Like I said, one model fits all, and you've got that extra zip you can probably just about see there for the additional canopy. So if you like the canopy idea, I've got it on the club located here. We've got a separate video for it as well, but you can see how it just sort of sits directly above it, gives that sort of thermal kind of backing kind of thing, so it gives you that bit more ventilation point. But really quite smart, sits really nicely. I mean, I've got that sort of fold out. I'll just zip that up quickly. There you go, that's much better. But again, gives you a bit more of an idea about it. And again, when you've got that kind of veranda kind of style, opens up really nicely, looks a lot smarter from the inside rather than having a fold of fabric loaded down there. So essence, yeah, one of the sort of kind of said the definitive awnings of kind of Dometic now, not camper. It's called, like I said, the good suddenly gets a lot better. And those small little tweaks, I think, just makes the awning from being, like I said, an exceptional awning into that next level again. You're very much in a league of its own. For more information about the sizes, as well as kind of the range we do, you can check the link below with all our latest prices. If you want things like dimensions, pack sizes, pack weights, it's all on the website via the link below as well. There's all the extras you can buy with it. So whether it be things like, you know, the roof lining, the carpets, the footprint ground sheets, the rear poles, limpets, storm straps, annexes, you know, the list goes on and on, mesh panels, yeah. Everything is there, and we've done a separate video about all the little nitty-gritty bits and bobs that you can buy for the awning as well. But in essence, that's kind of our little video review on the new and updated Dometic Rally Air Pro in the 200, 260, 330, 390 size, and then in the different heights as well. So thanks again for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments box below, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.